You know, in the world of biomedical research, a single well-made chart can literally be the difference between a major breakthrough and a complete dead end. But here's the twist. What if making that one chart is the biggest roadblock of all? Today, we're diving into something called FigureYa, a framework that's designed to solve that exact problem, helping scientists see the stories hidden in massive datasets without needing to be a coding wizard to do it. But before we get too deep into the weeds, let's start with something I bet we can all relate to. Have you ever been in a spreadsheet just trying to make a simple chart look right? You know that feeling, right? You're fighting with the settings, the colors, the labels. It's way harder than it should be.
Okay, so take that feeling of frustration, and now imagine you're a biomedical researcher. For you, this isn't just a little annoyance. The charts you're trying to create are absolutely essential for understanding diseases, for developing new life-saving drugs, and for showing your crucial findings to the rest of the world.
And we're not talking about a small problem here. It has become a gigantic bottleneck. Because of amazing technologies like high-throughput sequencing, researchers are basically drowning in a tsunami of data. The challenge isn't just collecting it anymore, it's making sense of it. And turning all that raw information into one single clear picture can slow the entire process of discovery down to a crawl. This is really the heart of the biomedical data bottleneck. We are seeing absolutely exponential growth in the sheer amount and complexity of biological data. It's a challenge like we've never seen before when it comes to visualization. So let's break down exactly what these researchers are up against. What this has created is something called the visualization gap, and you can see it laid out perfectly here. On one side of this huge chasm, you have these incredibly powerful programming languages, like R and Python. They can create basically any visual you can dream up, but man, the learning curve is steep. Then, on the other side, you have simple tools like Excel. Super easy to use, sure, but they often just don't have the power or the professional features you need for a top-tier research paper.
And this gap creates some really serious day-to-day challenges. Look, most researchers are brilliant biologists or clinicians. They're not trained coders. They end up spending a shocking amount of time, sometimes up to 40% of their total research time, just trying to make visuals. The quality can be all over the place, and then there's the huge issue of reproducibility. If you can't recreate a chart exactly, you can't really validate the science behind it. That's a huge problem.
So, the big question is, how do you bridge this gap? How can we give scientists the power to create these amazing, insightful visuals without forcing them to become full-time software developers? Well, that's the very question that led to the development of a really powerful new solution, a framework called FigureYa. So what is FigureYa exactly? It's really important to be clear on this. This is not a piece of software you just download and install. Think of it more like a toolkit. It's a standardized visualization framework, basically a huge collection of modular, pre-written R and Python scripts, all designed specifically for the kind of data biomedical researchers are wrestling with every single day. The core idea, the whole philosophy behind it, is so simple, but it's absolutely revolutionary. It's just this: replace data and use. The whole point is to provide these professionally designed, already validated scripts for all the common chart types. So researchers just have to replace the sample data with their own, run the script, and that's it. This whole approach is built on 3 core principles, and they directly attack those challenges we were just talking about. First, simplicity, to knock down that technical barrier. Second, efficiency, to give researchers their incredibly valuable time back. And third, professionalism, to make sure every single chart that this thing produces is ready for publication in the world's top journals.
So let's get practical. How does a researcher actually use this framework? How do they get from a spreadsheet full of raw data to a finished, polished figure that's ready for a scientific paper? Well, it turns out it's a beautifully simple process.
The workflow is basically just 4 easy steps. 1, you pick the script you need from this massive library. 2, you format your data to match the example they provide and you just swap it in. 3, you run the script. And 4, boom, you instantly get a high-quality, publication-ready visualization. It takes this super complex, time-sucking task and turns it into a simple plug-and-play operation.
And when I say a massive library, I am not kidding. How many scripts do you think are in this FigureYa framework? A few dozen? Maybe 100? Nope. It is 317. 317 different scripts, each one modular, validated, and meticulously commented, ready to be used right out of the box.
And this library has incredible range. As you can see here, it covers all the biggest areas in biomedical research today. Almost a quarter of the tools are for gene expression profiling, but it also has amazing support for immunology, survival analysis, and even the super cutting edge field of single cell analysis.
And here's the part that makes it so accessible. Every single one of those 317 scripts comes with the whole package. You get sample data so you know exactly how to structure your own files. You get pre-rendered outputs so you know what the final chart is supposed to look like. And you get detailed annotations in both English and Chinese to walk you through it.
So this all brings us to the really big picture, because this isn't just about making prettier charts or saving scientists a bit of time. This is about fundamentally changing the entire pace of scientific discovery itself. Let's look at the real impact here. So why does a tool like this really matter in the grand scheme of things? Well, first off, it frees up researchers to focus on what they do best, the science. Second, because all the code is open and transparent, it guarantees reproducibility, which is the absolute bedrock of good science. Third, it creates a kind of common visual language that helps clinicians, biologists, and data scientists all speak to each other more effectively. And finally, let's be real. Better graphics lead to higher impact research. It's that simple.
When it comes right down to it, by giving researchers better, faster, more accessible tools to truly see their data, FigureYa helps them discover patterns and connections that might have been completely hidden before. It's all about turning that raw data into knowledge, and then turning that knowledge into life-saving insights.
And that leaves us with one last really powerful question to think about. Just imagine all the brainpower around the world that's currently being spent wrestling with code and formatting charts. What breakthroughs are just sitting there, waiting for us, when all of that energy gets pointed back towards pure scientific discovery? What will we find then?